And now we will read through the story Theseus and the Minotaur, but I expect you to follow along as I read. And as it says here, I'm only going to read part of the story. I'll read about half, but you are responsible for reading the remainder of the story. And after, see, an assignment will follow, you are going to map it out like we did Pandora's box. And that's going to be your assignment for today. So in the story, it tells us that it takes place in Greece, in Athens and Crete, like we looked at before. I do want to point out at the very end of the story, there are questions. We are not going to do these questions today together. So do not worry about these right now. All we're going to do is read through the story today. All right, so I will start. You need to follow along. Theseus and the Minotaur. King Minos of Crete was a powerful man, feared by the rulers of the lands around him. When he demanded goods or men for his great armies, they felt they had to agree. When he demanded they send tributes to honor him, they sent them without question. It was the only way they could stop him going to war with them. But his demands on Athens became too much for them to bear. King Minos had a great palace built for himself. Inside this palace, Minos had built a giant maze, a labyrinth, and at the center of the maze, he kept a terrifying creature, the Minotaur. Now, this was no ordinary animal. It was a monster, half man and half bull. It was powerful and savage, and it loved to eat the flesh of humans who had been shut into the labyrinth by King Minos. They would wander through the maze completely lost until at last they came face to face with the Minotaur. Not a great way to die, really. As for Athens, Minos demanded that every year King Aegeus of Athens send him 7 young men and 7 young women. Why do we send these young people to Crete every year? Theseus, the king's son, asked his father. And why is it that none of them ever return? Because if we did not send them, Minos would wage war on us, and it is a war that we would not win, said King Aegeus. And they do not return because they do not go to Crete as slaves. They go as food for the Minotaur. Father, this is terrible, shouted Theseus. We cannot let this go on. We cannot sacrifice any more of our young citizens to that tyrant. When it is time to send the next tribute, I will go as one of them, and I vow that it is the last time the Minotaur will be fed with the flesh of any of our people. Try as he might, his father could not persuade him to change his mind. Aegeus reminded him that every year other young men had sworn to slay this terrible beast, and they had never been seen again. Theseus insisted that he understood the dangers but would succeed. I will return to you, father, cried Theseus, as the ship left the harbor wall, and you will be proud of your son. Then I wish you good luck, my son, cried his father. I shall keep watch for you every day. If you are successful, take down these black sails and replace them with white ones. That way I know you are coming home safe to me. As the ship docked in Crete, King Minos himself came down to inspect the prisoners from Athens. He enjoyed the chance to taunt the Athenians and to humiliate them even further. Is this all your king has to offer this year? He jeered. Such puny creatures, hardly even a snack for the mighty creature within the labyrinth. Anyway, let's go on with it. I am not a hard-hearted man, so I will let you choose which one goes first into the Minotaur's den. Who will it be? Theseus stepped forward. And now you will read the rest of the story on your own.